Okay, good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning to you. Make sure the beer is cold. Okay, this is interesting. We've got two legs down here. Is this coming back into this range or is it pushing up? See if we can get a higher low above here. It's hard to tell at the minute. Interesting. So we got a leg down. Are we going to get another leg down? Possibly. Trouble is, you've got a bearish bar here. It's congested, so that may get trapped. So it may still push up. It's hard to say at the moment. So it's cleared out any liquidity there. Let's see what it does now. Trouble is, if this is a range there, it could just be a breakout that's failed. Looks like it could possibly be a failed breakout, yeah. I looked at that bar there, but to be fair, it's a little bit congested there. You don't know whether it's going to trigger you like it did and then push up to the highs. Now, it's hard to say, really. You could argue that is a spike and channel. We've got... That's interesting. We've got a nice-looking correction there. Can't take this, in my opinion, because it's pushed back into this channel, so until it pushes and closes above it, giving us that impression that it may be pushing higher, I don't think you can take this. It may work. It is kind of a nice correction, but I think it's a bit too early. We have broken some levels up here, so that may be why. So I think we just got to sit tight here. We really need to get above that EMA to take a long there, in all fairness. There is orders, quite a chunk of orders at 700 here, which means I think that is vulnerable. Now, it hasn't triggered as yet. There is a bullish bar, but there is a higher low there as well. But I'm just concerned here because there's a chunk of orders at 700. So I think if you take that higher low, it could go horribly wrong. It may work, but it's starting to get congested. It looks even more congested on my left chart here. So I'm just sitting tight here. There is a higher low. It may work, but I think this is super risky. Now look at it. It's stacking up now, which means there's bulls trap there and possibly there. So it may go up. There is a correction, but my honest feeling is you've just got to leave this alone. So there is a second entry short there. So if you did take that higher low there, it's just stopped you out. It hasn't that one as yet, but at the moment, look at it. It's completely stacked. It does look like it's working down, but I don't want to just automatically assume. Oh, wrong one. That's not what I wanted. So Russell, good morning to you, buddy. Remove. So is there a channel down? There could be. Let me just see if I can... It could be a spike and channel from here. So a bit on the fence here. Let's put that there and that there. So there may be a spike and channel. That doesn't look terrible. Quick spike down and then a channel. Or it could be a channel with a break. I guess it'd say the left one is more likely. So I'm going to get rid of this at the minute. So it is looking like we got a range here. I looked at that bar, but I know we had a stack of orders above it. Another reason not to sell it. But it does look like this is ranging, doesn't it? So looking at this now, if we can get two legs up and retest the top of this, we may then get a push down to test the middle. So I think this is more like a spike and channel, so I'm going to do that. And if we can get a couple of legs up, we may get that move down to I think the midline's a fair enough target. You can see there's quite a lot of support around there. There is support up here, but if we can test that and then start to move down, we may get a second leg down. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It may not even give us a chance. Sometimes if it's obvious, it just drops, doesn't it? But I don't want it to get as far as there. I'd like a pullback kind of soon. Okay, so Dan's just posted that and he's looking at exactly the same thing we are. He's got that slightly different, but it's irrelevant anyway. I've got a break here and a push up, but he's got this like this. It's irrelevant really anyway. Now he's got it more like that, so I don't think it really matters either way. We're clearly pushing off the top. So there's my there. So yeah, he's got this is a spike and channel. So if he can get 2 pushes up, we may get something. Ideally, 2 pushes up, get close to the top of that. We may get it. Come on, let's have a little push up. Nothing I can do down here. I'm not getting into a trade here, to be honest with you. I want some distance from the tops to the bottoms. Come on, push. There is orders all around this area. Short orders. Disco, how you doing, buddy? Okay, come on, up we get. I'm just going to open an order up here.
Order submitted.
Just in case I'm not faffing around when it comes to order time. So there's big orders around about 95 down here. So I think if we can get a decent setup, we may get a good push down, but it's got to get to that EMA for me. The tight that is to that EMA, if we can get that bar, the top of that bar up here, the tight that is to the EMA, the more a chance it's got of coming down. It may just go now, unfortunately, but there's just nothing we can do at the moment. I'm hoping we get a little bit of sideways here with a break out the top up here, 2 little legs, and then a short here. Come on, get up. See, I can see a chunk of orders around about the 2 area here, which really would be ideal. Get a little touch up, pick off those, drop down bearish. That would give us a great move down then. Down to this next level down here. But we have got some support across there, which we might be bouncing on. It'd be nice to get a quick push up here. Get up to here, get close to this O2 level, and then give us a bearish bar. I don't think it's going to. I think it's just going to. It's struggling, I think, now. Go on, push up. That's it. Go on, go on. I want it to get above there. That to me is vulnerable because it's stacked, but there will be traders short in that. You can bet on it. So one leg up, second leg up. Come on, push up. That's what we needed. If we can hit that 2 level and then drop bearish, that'd be ideal. We have got to break an attempt, so we've got to be a bit careful here. So I wouldn't just take one bearish bar. I'd have to wait for the lower high. It's very tempting, that. And it's hit that 2 level where I wanted it to. Trouble is there's still orders up there, but I'm just going to have to sit tight here. Something doesn't feel right. I'd have to wait for the lower high. Let me just move this up so it doesn't decide to just rock it up. See, there is a small break there and an attempt at a new low. We may end up getting, what I'm kind of thinking is more along the lines of that, something like that. Couple of legs up, retest this top, strong push down, and then catch a lower high. Let me just get rid of this. This thing's
order cancelled.
So I'm thinking about something like that kind of thing. No, it's too much. Let's just get rid of this. So we're testing this. Now we're picking up, most of these orders are picked up here. There's some at 5, which is right at support here. So we may get lucky here. So if I put that there like that, that's very tempting. But I think the safest bet is to wait for the lower high. It's very tempting, that. Got to get a lower high. That's much safer, the lower high. It looks like it may come down, but you just never quite know. If you wait for the lower high, the chance of it working is much higher. But look how quick that dropped. As that dropped down, I bet there was people panicking there and jumped straight on the sell button. But then all of a sudden it shot down about 8 ticks, 7 ticks, whatever, and then it's backtracked. That's why you're always safer, I think, waiting for the lower high. That's much better. It's much safer. So I was tempted there, but I left it because it's only really a first entry. Now, if that came down much bearish, that would be better. But I think it's still better to wait for the lower high. Trouble is, sometimes it just drops. Context is correct in the sense that where the uptrend played out. So if you're trying, so there is a second entry short there. I'm not a massive fan of the bar. So still looking for the lower high just in case. If there's a break or there's a slightly different channel there, we may have already had a new low. So you've got to wait. But I like the fact that we are testing this, but the safe option is the lower high. If we can get the lower high, for me, we're coming down. It's looking promising. There's going to be stops there, I'd guess. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. It fits really nice there. So we've pushed up, got a channel break, new high. I'm confident this is coming down. Trouble is, there's nothing I can do down here. And if it's quite clear, sometimes it just comes down and we don't get an entry. So I don't think we're going to get a sniff here, to be honest with you. Which is a shame. I just wish that was a little better. See if we may get something. We may get a lower high. I have some whiskey ready. There's a little bit downstairs, I think, but my wife's had some of it last night, so there may only be a little drop of that bottle I opened last week or earlier in the week. I'm not drinking too much at the moment. I've just had my operation date for my gallbladder removed, which is a week on Monday. So I'm behaving myself at the moment. So I'm going to be no trading the Monday. Tuesday, I'll see how I feel. I'm going to have 4 holes in and around my stomach, so I'm not sure how I'll feel. I'm guessing I'll be okay to sit down, but it depends. My operation's in the afternoon, so sometimes that means you're in overnight, but I'm hoping, I hate hospitals, I'd just rather get out, so I'm hoping it's just day surgery and I'm in and out. Depends how I am, really. You never quite know until you're until you've had your operation how you react, but it is in the afternoon, so sometimes afternoons can mean an overnight stay, but hopefully I should be back to trading Tuesday, maybe Wednesday at the latest. How you doing anyway, buddy? It's going okay, mate. It's going okay. I think I'm finally learning now just to not take stupid risks on individual accounts and just let the game play out. It's been a good week, actually. I'm trading 2 contracts. So I'm trading 2 contracts on my Apex accounts and 1 contract on my Traderify account. So I'm up, I think, about 250, 354. I'm up about $450 on my Traderify accounts and about $850, $900 on my Apex PA account. So it's been a solid week for me. There is a lower high there. It's very tempting, that. Trouble is, it's a little congested, so it may come a bit higher. We may have 2 legs. So I'm going to leave that. That bar's naff anyway. So this may be even better if we can get a second leg up and fail here. That then is a penguin style trade. And if that happens, if we get 2 pushes up and it fails, we may get a second leg down. So we may get a bigger move down. Composed. Yeah, it's taking its time, bud. I'm certainly not the quickest. It's not for me lack of skill, I don't think. My skill and patience are all right, but I've had this whenever I get a new account. Up until recently, I have this tendency to take a bigger risk to try and get it a little bit of a boost. I don't know why, really. It's just stupidity. We all have our... In fact, that reminds me, I wanted to show some videos to you guys that would interest you. I just have this little bit of stubbornness just to try and give it a boost, where I'll get a new account and I may go 4 or 5 contracts just to get a quick $600-700. And it rarely works. You know, when you just keep doing things and you're thinking, why? Why do I keep doing it? Now this is looking like a very good penguin style trade. So I'm looking for some rejection here. Now, if you're going to take a penguin style trade, you would take it there, put a stop up here. But I don't. It's going to have to push down for me. 2 legs up. It's very tempting, that is. Very tempting. I like the way it's triggered above anything there. Let me see. I'd like to get a little bit more. I can't see many orders up top, to be honest with you.
Order submitted.
Bar's no good. And issues Apex rules for using 4 or 5 I think you can use up to 5 contracts.
Order cancelled.
I think you can use up to 5 contracts. I mean, at the end of the day, if you break a rule, it's not the end of the world. They just refuse you, make you trade another days. But what that does effectively is it makes your account even bigger. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I wouldn't use it as an excuse to go for heavy just to try and get an account. But very rarely have I just sat here like I did yesterday. I sat here patiently, waited for a setup, took it. Woof, look at that. I've been some people selling there, waiting for a setup and took it, and that's it. I very rarely just played the game properly. I've always had that tendency to take a risk to try and grow something. Just wondering if you got a refusal after doing that. Oh yeah. Not for taking. I'm pretty sure you can trade for half your amount, which is 5 contracts, up to a certain amount, and then once you get above, I think you can grow it. But absolute hand on heart, and I mean this, and I'll swear this on my daughter's life. I've been refused, but only when I've broken rules. But then I trade for 8 days. You've got to get 5 days above $50, and the other 3 you can flip for 1 tick micro. Then you'll get paid. I understand them not paying people that break the rules, because that will save money. What they're doing is a legitimate reason to not pay someone, because they're saying if people are going for big lucky wins, that's not really how you should trade. So really, you shouldn't get paid. So that's what they use to not pay you. And we know it. We know what the rules are. And if we choose to break the rules, they can refuse us. Fortunately, what some of the companies have done, they've removed that profit from your account. But Apex don't. They give you the benefit of the doubt and say, as long as you can pay, as long as you can trade for the next 8 days and follow the rules, I'll pay, which I think is decent. So let's have a look. You just need to be careful with 30%. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to grow my accounts to $4,000 before I withdraw. So I can take $1,000 in a day quite easily if the option was there. But the trouble is with me, I wasn't waiting for a great setup and then taking bigger contracts. I was taking a much riskier trade just to try and get a boost. And there's someone who can relate to that. I'm going to show you some videos of this lady I've been watching. Read some of these, because these really hit home. This lady is done exactly the same as me, and probably a lot of you as well. So I was reading this and I'm thinking, yep, I've done that. Yep, that's me. Where's the history? You might have already seen it, but okay, that's there. So Deegan Rehab name is under there. So let me have a look. Some of the recent ones. Is it time to quit? Do I suck at trading? How much have I spent on prop firms? Stop punishing yourself. Never go on tilt again. How I learn not to lose. But these are really good videos, and there's one where she gets her husband on air. Not, you don't see his face, but you just hear him talking, and she talks about hiding things from him and stuff like that. So it's really interesting to watch. Which was the one where she asked her husband? It was in the last week. That's it, I think. So yeah, she's talking to her husband. So he's answering questions. So she's hidden things for him for whatever reason. But it's really interesting to watch. So, but you do relate to it because we've all been there. So have a look at that. But Deegan Rehab her name is, but really interesting anyway. So I'll let you get a bit of look at that. So we didn't get this second move down. We behave. You do. She doesn't. She talks about resetting 6 or 8 accounts in a day. Now I've done that. Once I did it up to 10 times, but I blame the whiskey that night. But 6 times a day, that's a fair amount in a day, especially if you're doing it 2 or 3 or 4 days or even more. So, but yeah, have a look. But it makes you realise that it's not just you. You're not on your own. I'm going to take that up there a minute, but it's interesting to watch. Do you know, yeah, I genuinely think women make better traders because they're generally calmer, but I think it's thanks to us men that they're like that, really. because we take over the role of the aggressive types, so they don't have to. So I think that's why they find it calmer, because we make it easy for them, I think. So it's thanks to us anyway, I think. I think I'm safe in saying that. So what is going on here? Are we having a second leg up, or are we just retesting this top or possible top? So, okay, there is a lower high here, but to be honest with you, I don't know whether we're moving up for a second leg or not. So, it doesn't interest me really. Is there something like that possibly? If there is, it's already played out. The trouble is we're getting close to these highs, so I wouldn't consider shorting just here because it may push a bit higher. So looking on bookmap, there's orders. There's a big chunk of orders at 15, which is up here. All-time highs up here. So there's a chunk of orders there. Quite a big chunk of orders, and there's some at 12.50 as well. So my guess is 12.50. Funnily enough, 12.50 is a tick above the overnight highs. So, well, daily highs. So we may push up a little higher. There's no guarantees, of course. There are no guarantees. So I wouldn't go short here just at the moment. Not that we've got a setup. I don't think I would feel comfortable going long either. It's hard to say. We've got close to the top here. And it's pulled back a bit. Or we've got a break new high. There could be two little legs down, a second entry long. Same again. I'm just sitting out of this at the moment. So channel break new high. We've got two legs down, so it may push up or it may start to come down. I don't know. Okay, this looks like it may be coming down. Ah. So this looks to me like now we've got big orders, big chunk of orders down at 95 down here. which is below this. Now, there is a possibility, I suppose, this could kind of range a little bit. Actually. See, there is a failure there. Second entry long, but there's no room to the lows. I don't like taking failures when they're like that. I much prefer them when they're out of a little channel. They can be a bit hit and miss there. And not only that, there is a little bit of support across there. So you can see it right the way across there. So we've got 3 bars there sitting in and around there. So we may get a break. It's hard to say. But we may get a little pop up here. So that failure there, there's first entry failure. So there's a second entry long there, which is triggered. It has stopped it out, which I'd expect to, but this may push up a bit. So that's too risky taking a trade there anyway. One, there's no room to the lows. And obviously you can see it may bounce off there. So we may get a, well, that's exactly what it's doing. So if you took the short there, you're thinking, yeah, we'd trap some longs here. It's gone down. It's kind of like a double trap. It's gone down, took out the long that may have been thinking we're pushing up, and that's gone up there and quite likely going to take out the short. So I used to have a bit of a sheet of paper on my desk that's saying, taking a trade, look left, and if you look left, support, 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 support. You can see it right the way along there, so sometimes it'll bounce there. Now, fortunately, if you did take that, it never triggered anyway, that, sorry, if you did take that short, it hasn't stopped you out as yet. And it's looking a little better here, but trouble is it's stacking up now, so I'd still like it to take that out though, 100%. It's very vulnerable, that is, really, and if before it's going to move, it makes sense just to clear that out. So a quick tick and that'll have gone. And then all of a sudden we've trapped some possible longs there as well. I wouldn't want to take a long there because it's stacked up. So at the moment it's just going a bit sideways. I don't know whether it's going to come down for a second leg, down, test this area, or whether it's going to push a bit higher. But I'd like to see that bear bar, because it's gutless. That there's no structure really there. It's just it's easy pickings to go above there, I think. So it hasn't pushed below there, which is interesting. So that for me has still got to go. So it'd have to tick above there. But it's just stacking up proper a bit now, isn't it? So push above there, stop out that bear bar there, trigger that bull bar, push up there, stop that out, push down, stop that out. Okay, so if you got into that, even though it pushed down again, it didn't go below there, so it's vulnerable, that. So now this bull bar, well, bullish bar, is triggered. Now it's stopped that out. Is it going to come down now? It's hard to say, really. We have had a channel down there, but we've had a break and a new low and a little double bottom, so you don't know whether it's going to push back up. I'd still say, for me, it's more likely going to have a second leg down, which will kind of put this sort of a little area into a little bit of a range push up, one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, then probably maybe a bigger push up. Who knows? Very tempting, that. Trouble is, there's no... I'd guess this is coming down 100%. Trouble is, we were at the lows. Push down like that. Move up, clear all this out. Big bearish bar. It hasn't triggered anyway. Trouble is we're at the lows more or less anyway, so... Excuse me. Okay, possible second entry short. I'm staying out of this. It's not very clear. In fact, while it's figuring it's... I don't like any of this, to be honest with you. Yeah, it is. I mean, to be honest with you, I've had an above average week for me, so I'm really pleased. So I can go into the weekend if I don't take a trade. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. You know, it's been a good week for me. It's been a good, solid, above average week for me. You know, I'm learning slowly, little, smaller amounts, not going for... I don't think it's unrealistic to try and make $250 profit in an account over a week. I think it's very realistic. 2 clear winning trades after fees would get me $290. So let's say there's about $1,250 over a month. That's been 2 clear. So whether you take 3 or 4 trades and you end up, you know, 2 trades up, that's $1,300. And even if you say $1,000 after that, you can still earn plenty of money. You know, you can have 20 Apex account. You've got 5 Traderify accounts, 5 Take Profit accounts, 5 My Funded Futures accounts. There's a bunch of others as well. I haven't even really looked into, but you know, the possibilities are endless, really. 39. Okay, big bearish bar. I'm still not convinced at the moment. Dan's got it's a bit unusual for me. Dan's got a channel like that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. what I can see is there's a chunk of orders at 2, which is down here, and 700, which is down here, and 95, which is down here, which tells me move up, 1 leg down, 2 legs down with a move up. I'm not a fan of that. So just for now, we'll get rid of it. Dan does charts very similar to Mac. Sometimes they look a bit odd, but later on they might actually make sense. But I think you're always best to, if something doesn't feel right to you, I think you're best to listen to your own gut, because it's the only way you learn individually. You know, if I don't know what's going on, I'll always look at Dan's opinion or someone else's opinion. But if I like it, I'll use it. If I don't like it, I'll leave it out. But this, after this push of the break, a new high, this to me, it felt like it's going to be 2 legs down to this level down here. That's where I expect prices to go, and it makes sense. Kind of somewhere around about that area. 2 legs down. So my gut is telling me that's kind of somewhere where we're aiming. Actually, a little bit higher. To say 2, which is around about there, somewhere in there, to 99. But it may come down lower because we have got orders lower as well. Just not sure about this at the moment. It's a little bit, it's not the cleanest of price action. So I'll tell you what, well, it's figuring out. I'm not doing nothing here anyway. It's at least going to have to get down here before I consider. So what I'm going to do is make myself a quick cup of coffee. I'll put that on there. It was already on there. I can't remember. I'll make myself a quick cuppa, and I'll be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so I expected 2 legs down there, and we've had it, but it's very messy. I don't think I'd have gotten to a trade there. And there is a bearish bar there, but the trouble is it's all stacked, isn't it? So with those orders, I expected it to get somewhere into that box, and it's got right in smack bang in the center of it. So my thought process was right. And how far I'd still like to see it come down a little bit more, actually. Test this area down here. Somewhere around about there, I'd like to see it come down to at least clear some of this liquidity. So we've still got big orders down there below all this, so it just may take a bit of time. So maybe something like that. In fact, I'd be inclined to go there. That would fit at the bottom better. So maybe a little spike with a bit of a channel. So I'm not sure about that channel. It's kind of a possibility. So there are some traders who think there's a channel up. I don't think so. It just doesn't really look right to me. Maybe, but I'm not too sure. So it could be a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. I just think it's too early to go long at the moment, because if you do look, we are slowly sort of swinging down at the moment. I'm just looking what's obviously in front of me. The overall at the moment, it's hard to know what the overall picture is. We could have the move up and the drop here. There's always a possibility, but I just think it's too early to have a channel like that. If we come up here, we come back down here and up here again, then yeah, you would. But it's a bit short and stubby. It may well work, but the fact that we're doing this is just telling me I need to be super careful here. So it just doesn't. I think really, no matter what somebody has on their chart, if it doesn't feel right to you, the best way of learning is to not do it and kind of learn by your mistakes. It's good to have advice if you're not sure, but if it's after the advice, if the advice still doesn't feel right, the simple answer is just to leave it and don't do anything. But you do learn much better making your own mistakes, really. So we've pushed up to the top of there as well and then pulled back a bit. So thinking this is going up just at the moment for me is it just doesn't feel right at the minute. There is a second entry short there, but the bar's like a tick off a doji, so it's no good anyway. More or less continue range up from yesterday. Yeah, it kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Really, just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. We had a little break out the bottom. Sometimes it'll do that, clear that area. So there's always a possibility we'll push up there and clear this. Kind of the opposite. But it's just too early to think this is going up at the moment. It may well do. That may be the case, but it's not obvious for me. What's obvious is for me is it's not super clear. So the simple answer is just to do nothing. If this comes back bearish now, there will be a nice second entry short there, I think. It's a tough one, though. Trouble is, while you got it in the back of their mind, there may be traders thinking about this is going long. It's kind of hard to take a short, but are they wrong? Are they right and I'm wrong? Or are they wrong and I'm right? It's hard to know, really. It's very tempting here, but there's something about these I'm not a fan of. It's a tough one. It is a second entry short, and we have twice gone up to this line and come down bearish. So what's Bookmap telling us? Okay, there's orders at 7, not a huge amount, which is up here. There are orders at 700, which is down here. So that's 8 ticks, that bar, isn't it? See, it could be a push up like this with a pullback and then another push up. Risky one. Yeah, it's hard to know. There's just something about this little pattern here that's just making me feel a bit uneasy. And I think with experience in time, that uneasy feeling is there for a reason. So it's good to trust it. But we have had 2 pushes up to this line and bearish bar. Now we've had another C. So it looks like it's working. But it doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad thing letting it go, because if something doesn't feel right, you know the trades. That trade I took yesterday and loads of us took. Where was it? Can't remember what it was now. It's typical when you want to find something you can't. It wasn't that one. It was a second entry long, I think. It was that one there. We had a clean. That was super clean. You know, we had a channel down there with a break, a new low. You can see we had 3 bounces here, a big strong push up, nice little correction, and it worked. I don't have to think about those. I look at them, I like them, I click the button. But if something doesn't feel right, the safest bet is always just to do nothing. It looks like it's working, but it's not working as comfortably as I thought. But there's little bars with these wicks either side. That is not what I would call something that makes me feel comfortable. It's a bit hard to put your... how you doing, bud? It's a bit hard to put your finger on, isn't it? What it is about that. I certainly don't think it's a channel up. It doesn't look right to me, and we've come out of it anyway. So it looks a bit weird now. Maybe in an hour or two it might look great, but that's the downside to not knowing what comes next. But if we had a lower high here, that might not be a bad option. But also, it is looking a little bit possibly rangy. So it's struggling here, isn't it? It's not coming down here quite comfortably. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, mate? So leg and a leg. if we can get a push up, maybe another touch of this and then a bearish bar, you may consider that a triple test, so it may work. So perhaps if you're in a trade from there, you know, perhaps it'll go on to work. I don't think it's the worst trade in the world, but while I've got these down, there's just something that's not feeling great. And now all of a sudden you see this and then you get that reminder, I made that decision for a reason. If something doesn't feel right, there's usually a good reason. So we may have something like that. In which case it clears out all that liquidity. Then you may go 1, 2, triple test. So I'm just going to clear this out a minute and zoom in a bit so I can see this clearly. So I'm just going to get an order ready.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3. Have we got enough space to the lows? Trouble is, there's 900 ticks left. It's 10 ticks already. There's not going to be enough space to the lows, unfortunately. Try and get in on a limit order, but if we get a tick below there, 2 points. Would it go down that far? Possibly. There's just not enough room to the lows, unfortunately. I think it'd probably work, but it's 10 ticks, tick above, tick below. There are orders down here at 700, so it may be okay, but it's a bit close to the lows. See if we get a little pullback. Oh, that's not looking good, is it? That's not looking good.
Order cancelled.
I'm really surprised there. 1, 2, 3, triple test, big bearish bar right off this. I'm really shocked it's done that. I reckon that'll trap a few there. Wow, look at that. So maybe because it's... You got stopped that you took it, did you? It was just a bit big for me. There's not enough room to the lows. Could be a leg and a leg. It's hard to say. Trouble is, because you got stops there and there, you never quite know. Looking on this side, there could be. Don't ever feel bad about taking a trade that you think's good and it doesn't work. That is what you've been given is a valuable lesson on what happens in the markets. And the more of those lessons you have, you'll start to build up that picture in your mind, and you'll start to avoid more and more of them. So don't feel bad about losing a trade. Basically turn the bottom into it. Yeah, it's just hard to know at the moment. It's just what's made me nervous is this. Although it looks like it's coming down, it's pushing a bit, going sideways, pushing a bit, going sideways, which is kind of what a channel does really anyway. We push down, we go sideways, we push down, we go sideways, push down. So we do that anyway, but it's just, I don't know, it's just, it's a bit earlier on this move to be struggling already. Yeah. The thing is, I get trades like that sometimes where I take a trade and I can't for the life of me figure out why it went wrong. Most of the time I can. In fact, nearly all the time I can. But just sometimes it is easy to misread things. At the end of the day, people that take money out of these markets are very, very skilled, experienced traders. So don't feel bad about losing a trade. What you've been given is a free lesson. Well, say free if it's cost you a bit of money. But that's kind of part of it. I know it's hard to look at it like that. And for me, it's easy to identify it, but I still feel the same as you. I still get that feeling that it doesn't feel nice. I wish I didn't. But when if you were describing being a trader and how trading works to a novice, you would say losses are a part of it. You have to accept it. You will get used to it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it feels good. You know what I mean? It's kind of do as I say, not as I do, or do, you know. So it does feel uncomfortable. I don't know whether it ever truly goes away, but what I do, what I am certain of, as you get more experienced and you get confidence in your ability and skill, and you know over a period of time you make money, I don't think the losses mean as much. When you're trying to build up and trying to get payment earlier on in your career, they do hurt a bit more, but, you know, things change. No, it's go down. Yeah, at least. What I find now is, now I've been trained a little bit longer, I do get an uneasy feeling if something doesn't feel right. And that is experience. You know, what makes someone else make better decisions than someone less experienced? More experience, you know. An experienced doctor, if, you know, you'll have a junior doctor, will go to a more senior doctor. Why? Because the more senior doctor's been in the thick of it. He's done it, he's made the mistakes, and he's learnt more. And the longer you've been doing something, the more you've made the mistakes and the more you've learned the lesson. And it's kind of like driving in a way. I don't know. You know, I've been driving for 30, what was I, 21? So I've been driving for about 34, 35 years. You ever try braking with your opposite foot? Give it a go. It's near damn impossible. But it's amazing. I could be doing 70 miles an hour down the motorway, not even thinking what I'm doing. Something pulls in front of me. Straight away, your foot's on the pedal. It doesn't ram it down. It's finely tuned and it knows how far to push it. And it's just something that's built up like a muscle memory and experience. And that's the same thing with this. You get that muscle memory. You've been here before. You know, it's, I've said it a million times. You probably get sick of me saying it, but we've all driven to a town or a city that you may have driven through 10 years ago, and something, I recognise that, something, you've not gone there for any particular reason in the past, you've just driven through it. And it's the same with this. You take a trade here when it's choppy, something looks right here. The next time we have very similar scenario, you'll get an uneasy feeling and you'll leave it. And then when it goes through its process, it would have triggered you, stopped you out, and you've just saved yourself a loss because of that experience. So it does get better, but all this, I don't like it. It's choppy and a bit unclear. And I don't like these bars either, which is why I stayed out of there. Now, it pushed up. We had a triple test and we had a big, strong bar. So you would expect that to work. That's what I thought. I stayed out of it because it was too big and there was enough room to the lows. But I still don't feel comfortable because of all this and because of this. And it's just, it saved me a loss because of experience, and something just didn't feel right. There were the 2 points. Yeah, it's you know, it's I know in my own mind taking losses, and do you know what? I think part of it is down to Mac, and I don't want to say that in a kind of blame Mac way, but one thing Mac has never ever done, unlike any other trader I've ever come across, is talk about losses. You've never heard Mac come out of Mac. Losses happen. It's all of a part of it. Sometimes things don't go. You'll never hear those words come out of his mouth. Every other book I've read, every other book, go on about losses, a part of the game you have to accept. And Mac never goes down that road. So we're kind of taught that if something doesn't work, it's something we've done, or we've made a mistake, or we haven't read it right. But sometimes things don't happen, you know. You don't know what happens in the news. You don't know what some big investment firm might read about something and at this particular time decide to sell or buy. There's so many things that can affect these markets in the day. And sometimes, you know, I've heard Max say you can't take that, it's too congesting. Next day, I've seen him take a trade that's completely congested. But if you look at it, it is doing what we think it's doing. But because it's chopping around, sometimes, see these bars here? I didn't like the look of these. So what happened? Triggered that bar, pushed up, stopped out. All that along there. And what happened? Dropped down like a stone. So we got the direction right. And that's the downside to Pats. If you were trading maybe, I don't know, penguin style, and you dropped an order in here, you may have a stop up here. That, you've got room for that. You know what I mean? Was the marked it because it was absolutely, yeah. I mean, If that big bearish bar came down for 10 points, it'd mark it as a triple test. There's no reason why you wouldn't identify that as a triple test. The only thing that I will say is it's starting to look like a range, and going short into that range, if you think about it, that bar was one tick off where that was, and it crossed over and turned up. So that might be a reason we went short right into the bottom range. And the more I look at that, the more now, look at it, it's clearly a range, and it's going short into the range. So that's the trouble. There's no space left. So there was two reasons I didn't take that. One, it was a massive bar. Two, there's no space for the lows. You don't know whether the lows are going to be here or here. And that's the trouble. Fortunately, well, unfortunately, it went down by one tick and then turned. But it was only a tick off hitting the bottom of the range. So you get those feelings after a while. Something doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't know how many times, year after year, I just jump into trades. Emotions would overtake me, or I get a bit excited, or you get that butterfly feelings in your stomach. Oh, a trade, let's just go for it. And the trouble is with Pats, it's very quick. You've got to get into a trade quick and get out of it quick, and you've got to make fast decisions. And the faster decisions you have to make, the more chance you've got to make a mistake, because you haven't got time to think. And what makes you better at it is just, you know, repetitiveness again and again and again. But it's not a nice feeling to take a loss. But the key is not to panic. However you do that, whether you use Guardian Angel Trader to block yourself or whatever, the key is not to panic. It's easier said than done. I've still had issues with it myself. But, you know, the trouble is if you panic, one loss often leads to a second loss, and then you're at a deficit there that you're really uncomfortable with. You know, what have I taken? 3 trades this week, 3 or 4 trades this week, and I've won them all. So it's been a good week. Now, if I'd have lost a trade, I'd have still been up. But sometimes you lose a trade, you panic, you take a second loss, and all of a sudden, all your profit for a week is wiped out, and then you're frustrated. So the secret to this is purely and simply, wait for a good setup, take it, commit, move on. And the same again. The trouble is, when you get a loss, it interrupts that process. You get those nerves and those emotions, panic, and that can get you to get into, that can assist you getting into a riskier trade because you're thinking you want to get your money back. And that really is detrimental to your trading. I know it, but I still fall foul to it from time to time, but I'm getting better at it. Yeah, see, if you lose a trade today and you walk away without any more damage and come back on Monday fresh, yeah, you win a trade on Monday, straight away you're back to where you were. You're no longer down. Whereas if you're frustrated and you feel that urge to quickly jump in, that one loss leads to 2 losses. So when you come back on Monday, you know you're at a deficit. Now, I'm a believer, and I think it's right to say, I haven't lost money. Whether you win money one day or lose it in another, I think it's dangerous to think, I've lost money, I have to get it back. I think the better way of thinking about it is, I haven't made a penny until the end of the month. All I'm doing is my job. Now, if you're in a normal mainstream job, you're not thinking every 5 minutes, how much have I made today, and so on. At the end of the month, you get your wages and think, that's how much I've made. I made that bit extra because of overtime and a bit of bonus for this. You're not thinking about it day by day. So I think the best thing to do with trading is to treat it like a normal everyday job. Get at work, do what's required of you, and at the end of the month, look at your wages and go, okay, I've made X amount of money this month, I'm going to pay myself this. That's the best way of looking at it. It isn't easy, and I still have issues with it myself. But when you think about it in the cold light of day, it makes perfect sense. But it just goes to show how human beings work, and even though we know it makes perfect sense, those emotions still make it a little bit more tricky. I went with 3 contracts. Usually I go with 2. Need to win 2 or 3 to recover. So yeah, see, you've said that fatal word there, recover. It's, you know what I mean? It's like when you win money, you think it's mine. Now it's mine. It's not really. It's just money that's gone into your business account. But over the course of a month, money will go into your business account and money will come out your business account. So if you had, I don't know, if you had a trucking business, you would have companies that you've hauled for, and they will be sending checks, and those checks will be going into your business account, like your account, like your trading account. You may have to buy new tyres for a vehicle. You've got a fuel bill which you pay. So you've got money going in and money coming out of a business account, any type of business account. And trading is no different. And at the end of the month, you look and you think, okay, I've made 10, 15% profit this month. I can afford to pay myself X amount, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of really the best way of looking at it. Just thinking about it as a trader buddy of mine, Nick, said to me maybe a year or two ago, just treat it as a business expense. You know, if you had a vehicle for work that you used and it needed a service, you wouldn't think, oh, God damn it, I've got to pay this amount of money. You wouldn't panic and stress, would you? You'd just go pen it because it's a business expense. I think day trading, because it's not hard to accept for people. Yeah, it is. It is difficult. It does take time. So this is doing what I expected. I expected it to come down to this level. I had orders. There were orders at 95 and there were orders here as well. And it's done what I kind of expected. So it does. See, what I've expected happen here and there is happened. So you may think that would make it easier to trade, but it's not necessarily the case, because with Pats, we have one bar to get it right. That one, for instance, or that one in your case. Now, it might be a good bearish bar. Price is coming down, but because of this little bit of chop, it's triggered, stopped it out. That's the downside to Pats. You've got to be super accurate. Otherwise, it's very easy to get caught out by 2 ticks. And what happens? Look at it. There's nothing that rubs your nose in it even more when it takes you out for 2 ticks and then runs down 10 points. It's infuriating. But that's kind of the slight downside to Pats. But it is a great system. But when it is chopping sideways like that, I think the simple answer is I left that because, well, 2 main reasons. One, there's no room to the lows. And it was quite a sizey bar. I can't remember how big it was, but what was it? So Thru was 2.5 points. Is that all it was? I thought it was bigger than that. So was that the bar? Yeah, it was. So tick below, tick above. Oh yeah, it wasn't huge, but yeah, I think mainly because there was no room to the lows. But one more tick and it would have bounced off the lows, which you'd expect it to. It was only a tick off doing what that one did. So, but yeah, it is hard to leave trades. It does get easier though. I'm quite happy. If something doesn't feel right, see, the way I see it is there's only one guarantee when you're taking trades. That if you don't take one, you won't lose a penny. If you take one, there are no guarantees it's going to win. So if it doesn't feel right, set yourself up for a guaranteed no loss and leave it alone. Because if you do take a risky trade and you take a loss, you know in the back of your own mind, your next trade now is just going to get you back to where you were. And you want to try and avoid that if you can. It's why I think people like Dan, who's been trading a long time and particularly good at it, takes very, very few losses because he's good at filtering out the stuff. And that only comes with experience, sat here day by day. And every time you get trapped, like next time you see something like that, when you get a bar like that, you'll get a feeling in your pit of your stomach that says something doesn't feel right here. And then you decide to leave it and it triggers, would have stopped you out. So when that starts to happen, you start to realise where not to get out. It's a nice feeling. Then that's when you really start to feel like you're learning. So, so we've got this move up and we've got 2 attempts to go down. So it's hard to know where this thing's going now. There's a higher lowy. I'd say it's probably likely going to go back to that EMA, but in all fairness, I don't like the bar. So I'm just sitting tight, really. See, if I do nothing today, I'm still up, you know, between $450 and $900 per account for the week. So I've done more than I like to do in a week. So finally had the last piece of my computer delivered today, the case. So I'm going to build it either tonight or tomorrow. So hopefully I should be, everything should be nice and quick and speedy for tomorrow. Wow, look at that. Oof. What's causing that to spike like that? There's no news today that I'm aware of. Second entry short there. We've got a doji now. Now I'm going to bring this down a bit. There. Not quite sure what pushed that up like that so quick. The green again, good on you, mate. Now the time now to settle now and go dead careful. It's moving a bit quick like there's some news. There are large with 9-10 million. There's not a huge amount in the way of passive orders. These are aggressive buyers and sellers, which tells me maybe there's a bit of news. Okay, so someone said news. So it's certainly operating. The news brings in the aggressive buyers and sellers, because as I say, this is quite dark. There is orders up here and here, but they're dying down a little bit now. So something, I'm guessing, come out in the news. So I'm going to have a quick look on Forex Factory and find out what it was. It's definitely something. News. Yeah, don't feel bad about revenge trading. It's a normal human thing to do. It's not a nice feeling, but it is normal. It does happen, unfortunately. I think over time you'll just do it less and less, but don't beat yourself up. Watch that woman that I showed you earlier. She talks a lot about it, and that'll help. If you can identify with other people, it'll help you, I think. So this to me is looking rangy now. So I'm thinking that a second entry long would probably push up. You're welcome, mate. Love you too, bud. I'm just trying to find out what kind of news came out. Gotta have been something. So this has moved up quick and it looks like it's recovering this. Let's have a look at. It's getting a bit messy now, isn't it? No, I can't find it. It's weird. Look at all this. All these have been yanked. Something's happening. We had that quick move down. See, all them orders disappeared. See, it's all gone black. So a lot of those orders sat around here have been yanked. There's still some down here, but all this, most of the orders are down low. Odd. I moved after max chart, second entry long look. Nice. Anybody took it? So, I don't know what's going on here at the moment. No, it's not super clear. So something created this, some little spike in the news. Usually someone will post something, but let me just see if I can adjust this, see if this does something. Trouble is, I don't like the way nothing's touching that. Could have been about Trump. Yeah, it could have been anything, really. The trouble is, it's a different world now at the moment when you got Trump, because usually whenever you get any type of news, we always know about it beforehand. But Trump, he's kind of a big fan of Twitter, which makes our job that little bit more worrying, doesn't it? I certainly think since Trump's taken to Twitter, we go for a little bit more pairs of underwear, that's for certain. I'm still looking for this. We got kind of a couple of pushes up, a couple of attempts. If we can get a second entry shorty, I think there's another chance this can come back. But I sure. Excellent. Thank you, Daniel. So, yeah, I just wanted to see what Dan's got there. I know someone said they've got a channel. I don't like all this bit here. So he's got a channel there with a break. So that's interesting. Sometimes if it's not clear, so I'm just going to ditch that for the minute. So Dan, did he have that or something different? Yeah, he has. So he's got that with a break, push up, new high. So where's this thing going? It's hard to know, really. Trouble is, it's kind of ranging, but where would you say is the bottom of the range? Is it there? Is it there? Or is it here? How the hell can you trade that? You can't pick a bottom and ride it up when every time the bottom is different. So you probably say these are the overnight lows. Highs. They're certainly playing a strong point. So 2 legs up to here with some sort of reaction. Trouble is, it's easy to say if we get this, if we get that, but when it happens, something's got to feel right. So if we get a second leg up to this area, we can see right the way along there, that area, whether you call it, yeah, you call that the overnight eyes. We haven't got up here, we're in the early afternoon in the UK. So there's overnight eyes, and you can see how many times that's playing a part right the way along there. So if we can get 2 more little legs up here, or 2 big legs, or whatever they are, first is 2 legs, that might be 2 small legs. If we can get a bearish reaction around about here, that wouldn't be a bad option to go short, or at least maybe ride that back, because you can see how important that's been right the way along. Just haven't got very far, have we? It was off to get advantage of it. So what I can see here, book map, there's some large orders, 92.50 there. So that's kind of around there, isn't it? Yeah, that's exactly where it is. So we've pushed up and bounced. So so there are orders, larger orders right at that level there. So trouble is, it's just sliding up and down here. Dan took a trade there. There's a second entry long. Trouble is, he only goes for 6 ticks, so does he just ride it back to the EMA? Mind you, there's not enough for 6 ticks to the EMA, is there? So we want a little pullback here, 2 little legs back, and then down to this area. Got a nice short NQ, 10 points. Good on you, mate. Do you know I trade NQ sometimes with evaluations? Have you ever had it so it pushes through your profit and it doesn't trigger you? It doesn't hit your profit. It did it a few days ago. I was doing it. It shot right up from your profit and came back down. It's weird. When it hits your profit, sometimes it doesn't give you your profit. When it hits your stop, it never fails. Somebody's making some money there, aren't they? If it hits your stop and cuts you out straight away, it should do the same with your profit. Doesn't seem to work that way. Somebody's on the fiddle there somewhere. So I expect it to get down below here. We got a channel with a break. So there's 2 legs down there. So you can see on bookmap these orders sat all around here. So I expect it to hit there. Whether it does it now or whether it pulls back first. Usually losses stop orders and take profits limit. Yeah, I suppose. Doesn't often happen. I mean, it rarely happens on. In fact, I can't think of a time when it's happened on the ES, but it's a lot more flickery, the NQ, and obviously the movements, the ticks are kind of smaller, aren't they? Isn't there like 4 ticks to 1 or something like that on the ES, isn't it? Something like that. They are different, aren't they? It does flick around. I've had it so it's hit me order and it's sat on me order and it's moved away from it. So yeah, it scares me, the NQ. I'm not very manly when it comes to the NQ. So looking for a second entry short. I don't think we're going to get it. It would be nice. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be a second. Yeah, it's quite a bit messy today. We look for areas, don't we, when we break these, but every time we've had a break of this, it's just chopping, isn't it? Same here, we're looking for something here and it's just chopping. We had a break here, chop, nothing you can do. Break new high, it's not easy. So those orders are at 92, around about here. Excuse me. Channel break, new low. I wouldn't want to go long here. Mind you, having said that, now there's a load of orders around the 90 to 92. You can see this area here, all around the 90 area, so around about here. Which is below this, I think. So yeah, so 90 would be around about there. So the orders start there, so there's no guarantees it'll get there. If there's enough aggressive buyers, price could push up from there. But looking upon this, if I'd have took that bullish bar there, I'd expect to get stopped out now. So I'm guessing this is going to come down below here and into this kind of area where there are buyers waiting. Got something frozen then. Start the weekend. Yeah, you take it easy, buddy. Take it easy. Have a good weekend, mate. Okay, we're pushing into this area now by the looks of things. Okay, so channel break, 2 pushes to a new low. So this is the problem with Pats. If you don't use something like bookmaps, sometimes if you get a bullish bar there, you might think 1, 2, 3 triple test, let's go long. But I can see there's a chunk of orders below there. So I'd say there's more chance of price coming into this area, which would take out my stop. So, for instance, that bar there, you may argue bounce, 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 and there's a bullish bar there, and it triggers you, comes down and hits these orders or starts to target these orders. So it's a tough one, really. There's no guarantees it will get there if there's enough aggressive buyers, which there seems to be at the moment. It's just shut up green, but the bears are catching up. But we just had a big push there, and all of a sudden that thing went up. Trouble is, as long as these are there between kind of 90 and 92, I'm worried about going long. I'd like it to pick those off. Majority of them are about 90, which is down here. Okay, that's where we wanted to get to. And down a bit more now. It's just starting to go really slow now, isn't it? Mind you, I suppose that's Fridays can be a bit like that, can't they? We need to push down in here for me to pick up these bigger orders. But you never know. It's finding some support there. So if there's enough buyers, aggressive buyers, it'll move up from there. It won't be the worst place to go long. We're clearly finding some support. But as long as these orders are down, that's the trouble. That's why I like Bookmap. If there isn't a massive amount of orders down here, then I'd be okay maybe thinking about going long. I mean, it's congested here anyway, but sometimes as this moves, those orders push up a bit. In other words, people chasing stuff. So that might happen. Let's see if this starts to move. It's getting up a little bit. So these might start to fade off or move up a bit. Trouble is, as long as they're down there, I don't want to get into a long trade. Right, let's have a look. See how everybody else is doing. No, it's not much, is it? It's not. I just find NQ2 scares me. It flickers around too much for me. It's for real men. I stick to the ES. ES is for girls. I'm quite happy being there. Okay, we're starting to push down into this area now. If we can get below there, it should get a bit easier, I reckon. There's bound to be some people buying off there. You'd have suggested channel down there, 2 pushes to a new low. Get below there, it should get a bit easier. There we go. So those orders sat down there at 90. So how far will it come down? We shall see. So has it got below there? I think it has, hasn't it? Yes, it has. So next point of call, 90. Pick up these orders. It is taking some of them now. You can see some of these here have gone. So we've picked up some more of them. There's just some more around about 90 here, just marginally under. That's why I stayed out of trades here when I can see those. And right, I mean, it did look like you could take a trade off here, but I left it and it did what I kind of expected it. So it's great for knowing where it might be worth staying out of a trade. If you're waiting to go longer and there's a ton of buy orders below you, chances are it's going to hit theirs and not help you out. Of course, there are no guarantees. If all of a sudden, just before it gets there, you get a huge amount of aggressive buyers buying, they might want to get in at that price and they're not willing to wait for it to come back a bit. So we're a tick off that 90 area now. Okay, so big, strong buyers. You can see them there, have just jumped in there. That's exactly just as I said that. It's okay having these down if all of a sudden you get a big, massive chunk of aggressive buyers thinking they want to get in at that price and it takes off. And that's exactly what it's just done. So with all the will in the world, there are no guarantees. It's got very close to that and people have just thought this is close enough, I'm guessing, and they bought. And all of a sudden we've shut up about 8 points. Straight up. Those orders are still there. Is it going to get down? I'm not so sure it will now. But yeah, all of a sudden you can see the aggressive buyers. It just rocketed up. So there are still some there, but it may disappear. In fact, look at them. They're starting to get dragged off now. See how it's starting to go yellow? It was thick red a minute ago. If that goes higher, they'll just get yanked. See how they're moving them up a bit? So 92. So they're saying, okay, if price comes down here, I'll jump in then. So they're moving up. They're following the price. If it comes down, I'll jump in there to push up. But it's gone a bit stagnant now. So if it pushes up a bit more, a lot of this will just disappear then. So there are still orders at 92.5. So they're saying if it comes back to this level, I'll buy. So it may do. Ooh, tick off it. We'll tick off those there. Okay, so that should have picked them up a little bit lower there. Yeah, okay. So it's picking off. There's still some more there. They're getting a bit more confident now. There's a few more getting in at 90. But after a couple of legs down, much better to get in down here and make some profit. But it's finding some support there. So they're still quite red at the moment. They did all disappear. It went yellow. But if this pushes up a bit higher, you'll see them start to go yellow. There's nothing you could do here really anyway, in all fairness. Okay. Let's see if it hits that 90. It could well do. There's a little double bottom here. See if we get them buyers coming in again. Slowing it now. Do something. Okay, it's bounced off that 90 again. Is it going to go? Should do. Stopped for some reason. I wonder why it was up here. So it may have picked some of them up. It's gone from being relatively red to a little bit yellow. God, it's so damn slow. Okay, that's picked up them orders now. So them orders at 90 now just disappeared. So let's see what happens now. There's not a huge amount of orders there. There's some up there and some up there, but it's died off a little bit now. So I think it's going to rely on the aggressive buyers and sellers. Boring, isn't it now? Okay, excuse me just a second. Oh, as it's Friday, I got myself a scotch. Tam Navolin. Port cask. Alfredo, how you doing, my friend? So, this thing's keeping coming down, isn't it? So, let's see if we can find something. That doesn't look too bad. Push down, go sideways, push down. So, one would expect price is likely to test this area. We push up. We've made an attempt at overnight highs. Well, so overnight highs is more here overnight highs. Sorry, we've made highs of the day. We've made an attempt to break it and we're pushing down. So really it's just more or less, it looks like more of this just ranging really. It's more or less what it did yesterday. We had a few big swings up, but then it just, the rest of the day, it just ranged and it more or less finishing off the week like that. So I'd be looking for a couple of legs up, maybe a second entry shorts, but I think probably shorts looking for at the moment. Something like that, maybe test this area somewhere around about there. That's quite an interesting level there. I do pay attention to levels because it's surprising. You can see it there, how much it does pay attention to there. You can see it. We had this kind of move down. We had two legs up, didn't we? I think was that little hammer that took that short there. It's unfortunate that to trigger you, stop you out for 2 ticks. We had two legs up. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes they'll just work. It just came down, didn't it? But it is, I think really some of these I think were vulnerable. I didn't like this, and when they're vulnerable, a lot of the times they'll get taken out because it's quite easy to push price above there if they're weak positions. These are above and below the EMA, so that is tight within that EMA. So I get why it's pushed above this level. It's just unfortunate. There's that one there. I bet quite a few people got caught out there. So you'd have a guess at price is likely to kind of work its way down. Obviously, there are no guarantees, but that is a level that you can see prices reacted to right the way along there, really. So if we can get two legs up and get some, maybe a break here and a push down, it's always possible. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a perfect channel just at the moment, but in fact, could you even doesn't work there, does it? It works here, or does it? No, it pushes up a bit higher there, so I'd probably put that there and then follow that up there. So if we get two legs, excuse me a sec. Okay, let's have a look. So Dan would do that. So if we get bearish bar here, I don't think that's a terrible trade. Channel break new high. It's got to close below the EMA though. It's only relatively small.
Order submitted.
It's very tempting, that. See how it finishes. I'm going to wait for the lower high, I think. Something just doesn't feel right here.
Order cancelled.
Let's wait for the lower high just in case. It's just not pushing down like I'd expect it to. So let's just wait for the lower high. I nearly got in then, but I just thought, just be patient. I can see orders up here, see, so we may get a leg and a leg. So the lower high is a safer option. If we get a lower high, it's safe to take. As it's done that, I'll be surprised if it doesn't stop that. It does look like a hidden second entry short. It's just something I'm not sure about here. It's just something I'm not sure about. Something just doesn't feel right. I've seen Denmark trades like that before. I think a lot of time they wait for the lower high. So if it's not clear, the safer option is the lower high. Not only that, there is orders up here, which there's a chunk of orders at 95. That's another reason why I didn't feel quite comfortable with it. 1, 2, 3. So I still don't think shorts are off the table if we can get up here. That looks like a leg and a leg. So it's picking up them orders now. So let's see what happens. Orders up at 700 now, which is there. So that's interesting. You could argue there's a triple test there. It's very tempting. I'm going to wait for the lower high, I think. Okay, I think I'm done for today, actually. I've had a really good week. I don't want to ruin it. So it's just a funny old day today. So I'll leave you guys to it. So have a good day. Have a fantastic week. And we'll catch up on Monday. Bye for now.